Okay, great. So tonight we are talking about mapping your future, your students' future, utilizing college and career tools. Again, it's a feature, it's a platform, and it's really for us to dive deep into college search and career search. So if you are not familiar with our team, we are CUSD-Futureology. We are free college and career counseling. You have a counselor at all, we have a counselor at all the high schools. And so depending on what site your school is at, what site your student is at, you'll see the different counselors up here. So we work alongside school counseling team or your guidance office. We're all credentialed school counselors, and we focus on the college and career planning piece of students' high school career. So quick overview of what we're going to be talking about tonight. What is CaliforniaColleges.edu? It's fun to say it if you're like us. We've been saying that long name for years now. So sometimes I'll just change to CCGI, but the real name is CaliforniaColleges.edu. We're going to do some academic planning, A through G eligibility, the college tools like we mentioned, career exploration, financial aid tools. And then at the end, we are going to do a Q&A. But again, feel free to write your questions as the webinar is, as we move along. Tonight with us, we have our college counselor from Capo Valley, Ms. Davila, as well as our Dana Hills College counselor from, Ms. Nicole Rengifo from Dana Hills. So what is CaliforniaColleges.edu? Really, it's a platform that our students get to utilize as a guide for college and career exploration. It's a one-stop shop. That's really what we say because it has it all. When we're thinking about how to plan for colleges or what's a good fit college, and then when we move forward, maybe senior year, okay, I've done my college application piece. Now, how do I go through financial aid? Or maybe my student's a sophomore and freshman, and they're just getting started with the college search. So there's a career piece of that because we can't talk about college without talking about career, really, right? So this is what this platform does. It really simplifies everything for both the student, the families, and the counselors. So we are thrilled that our district has this device or this platform for us to really create a more cohesive and strategic plan for your students as they continue to plan their post-secondary journey. The 4 components of this platform are an academic planner, college tools, career tools, and financial aid. So we are going to be covering all those 4 tonight so that you get familiar with what your student is here at their campus. And that way, when they come home, you can also access this and create a plan together that will enhance and really supplement everything that they receive here at the high school. So to get started, the platform, again, it's free. Students have access to log in through their Clever app. They click on college readiness and then click this little icon. They're going to get very familiar, especially during their advisement period with their school counselors. So California Colleges allow students to view their eligibility, right? So this is a sample of what student may see. As soon as they log in, they'll get to see what their current GPA is, all the classes that they have, and the grade they received in their classes, and then see their eligibility for both UC and CSU. And we definitely want to point out that while this is CaliforniaColleges.edu, you'll see in just a second that it's not just for California schools. This platform also utilizes, you can also search for out-of-state schools. Quick reminder of what we mean when we say A through G eligibility. So A through G eligibility is a little bit different than our high school graduation requirement. So for CUSD, you can look on the side, on the blue side, and see all the courses that students need in order to get a high school diploma from one of our CUSD schools. It's very similar to, but not the same as our A through G requirement. So for students wishing to attend a 4-year right after high school, they must be on track with all their A through G courses and receive a C or higher in order to apply for Cal States and UC. So the biggest differences are the ones here you see that are starred, right? So with math, you can 4 years recommended really if you want to be a competitive applicant. as well as a foreign language requirement. You need 2 years. That's not a high school graduation requirement, but it is if you are thinking about going to one of these 4-year universities. And then also your VAPA or Visual and Performing Arts credit. You must take 1 full year of that, get a C or better in order to be on track with A through G. So that's what we mean by when we say A through G. And I know it's confusing, but really we just give a letter to each of the categories. So A is history, B is English, and so on. So to simplify it, we just say A through G. And a note, most private and out-of-state colleges align really well with A through G courses. So if you can be on track with A through G, that sets you up to be eligible for also out-of-state and private universities, but they might have some exceptions. So you just make sure that you check with those, and that's what we're here for, to answer those questions as well. Okay. This is a better visual of what students will see when they get to log on to their CaliforniaColleges.edu account. For instance, they'll see, am I eligible for a UC school? Here is a good example of what they're going to see. Do they meet all their college preparatory? You need 1 year. Most students will finish high school with multiple college preparatory electives, so that's not the one that you have to really worry about. It should be really like the VAPA, right? Because as you saw on the previous slide, it's not a high school requirement, but it is a requirement for these 4-year universities. So you'll be able to find whether you are UC eligible or CSU eligible, and if not, the red courses tell you where you got a D or an F, because 4 years only takes Cs or better. Okay, and so this is my favorite part. We have if you, no matter what grade level you are in, but especially for our sophomores and juniors in the room tonight, this is especially important because that's when this conversation really starts to pick up is, well, I want to go to college, but how do I even start? Because there are so many colleges, right, here in the United States, and then, of course, in California as well. So you can build your college list just from the comfort of your home. You can filter through majors, college size, the cost of the colleges, right? And then what we like to see also is this school a target school, a reach school, or a safety? Our students in the room will be very familiar with this if they aren't already. A safety school is a good example is like a community college. We know that you just need to graduate high school or be 18. You apply to the community college and you're in. That's a safety school. It's guaranteed. A reach school is a school that we talk about like low percentage rates of accept or admittance rates, and then maybe they have a high GPA, like a 4.0 average GPA, right? That's going to be your reach school. And where we really want to focus, the majority of our list is our target schools. Those are target schools that you meet the minimum GPA requirement or the average GPA requirement, and they have acceptance rates of about 57% or higher, right? 62%, 82%. Those are more of our target schools. And again, it sounds like a lot, but students are able to filter through this and then see where they fall. They see their academic plan. Okay, this is my GPA. I am eligible for a Cal State, but now how does that where does that lead me for maybe Cal State Long Beach or Cal State Fullerton or SDSU? So really, really cool feature. And that's exactly why we're doing this webinar. It's our first time ever doing this webinar for all CUSD because it has everything the student will need to prepare for their post-secondary goals. Moving forward, this is the feature that we show all of our students when we meet with them, is you get to see the information by college, right? So before, if you went to school, when I went to high school, when I went to school years ago too, you have to like Google each college, see what their acceptance rate is, maybe their average GPA, when is their deadline, all that stuff. You have to do that per school. Now there is one place to see all of that information, right? So this is, again, exactly what students will see. If they click on the admission tab, they'll be able to see acceptance rates, the average GPA at this school, major sports and campus communities, right? So if you're someone that wants to play sports, let's see, do they offer the sport I want? Or what does it look like to go to this campus? What's the makeup of this campus? And so really the ones that we highlight are the admission rates, and then degrees and majors, because the whole point of going to one of these schools is so that you can get into the career you want. And so you want to make sure that they offer the field that you want. Now, this is specifically just for our seniors in the room tonight. And so something to keep in mind, even if you're not a senior, because this is the platform we'll be using moving forward for our class of 2025 seniors. You want to make sure that you launch all of your college applications through CCGI because everything, all the search that you've done, maybe you've met with your college counselor or your school counselor, you already have a list and you're only a sophomore, you will be able to save these schools onto your account. And then come senior year, all you have to do is launch my application. It's that simple. It's a really, really cool way and simple way for you to put all your data information, your interest, and then come senior year, you don't have to go back and say, well, I met with Miss Luna and I don't remember what school, or I don't remember if that was a Target or a Reach school, right? It's all in here. And so then you can transfer all your courses. This is particularly important. So I like to say, if you don't remember anything else, I tell my seniors about our meeting or what I said about CCGI, I want you to remember this piece. If you launch or by launching your application through this platform, all your classes will transfer to the UC and Cal State application. So I'll say that one more time. If students launch their applications, Cal State and UCs through CCGI, all their academic coursework will be transferred directly onto the application. And we want this, we like this, because it ensures that you put all the coursework that you've taken in high school, minimizes error, room for error, and it just saves you a ton of time. Back in the day, you had to manually input every single course. So maybe you omitted that you took chemistry in 10th grade, or maybe you remediated a course, but you don't quite remember. You need your transcript in front of you, right? So for the most part, all your coursework, is going to be transferred directly onto these applications. So again, if you are a senior this year, you're going to hear this during your senior one-on-one if you haven't done so already, but you want to launch all your applications, Cal State's UCs, it's going to transfer all your courses. Now we're going to hand it over to Miss Davila from Capo Valley. So that was just the piece on college applications and really the college search and all the great things you can do. You get to see whether you're eligible for Cal State's UCs. You get to see where you are in the process. Am I meeting those requirements so far? And then building a college list. And that connects really well with then connecting to a potential major or career.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm Mrs. Davila, and I'm the college counselor, Futurology college counselor at Capo Valley High School. Thank you, Miss Luna. And I will be reviewing a little bit about the career search tools that are embedded in this platform, which is a fantastic opportunity for all students from all grade levels to continue to explore their career interests. And so if you are a 9th or 10th grade student, I highly encourage you to take advantage of this tool and start taking those career inventory assessments that are available through this tool. If you're a senior, you most definitely can continue to take these assessments and continue to explore those career options. And so I'll show you a little bit in just a bit how you can also find out about potential majors associated to that career. And so every student does have this account. Everyone has a free account through CaliforniaColleges.edu, and there are various assessments embedded in the career portion of it. And so we do have an interest profiler. And so here is an example of the type of questions that students are asked. And so students are asked about their interests and things that they would like to do or not do. And then based on their responses, it'll generate a list of potential careers that would be a good match based on the student's interest. And there are additional assessments that are embedded in this entire platform. So there's also a skills assessment that asks students about things that they are good at doing. They rate themselves and their abilities and what they like to do, what they don't like to do. And then the program will generate a list of careers that match the student's strengths and skills. And there's also a work values assessment that students can take where they talk about things that are important to them, what matters to them when they're looking for a career. And so it'll also generate a list of careers that match those values. And so some pretty awesome tools. And I always tell students, try to take as many assessments as possible. That doesn't mean that you're set on those results, but it is giving you a point, some data to consider. And if you start to see a pattern when you're taking different assessments, then maybe you want to continue to explore that particular field. So some really nice tools out there that are part of CaliforniaColleges.edu. And so once students start getting a list of the careers that they are matching with, they are able to look through each individually. They get to see what education level will be required for that career. They can get information about income, so national median salary. So I know that when working with students, that is always obviously something that's important to them. Am I going to be able to make a good living with this career? And so it does provide that information. And what really is very neat about this is that if a student finds a career that they are really wanting to know more about, or that they've reviewed and they're really interested, they're really liking it, they're liking what they're seeing, they can heart under the favorites column, they can click on the little heart, and CaliforniaColleges.edu will save their search. It'll save their hearted selections so that they can continue to go back to those lists in the future. So a really awesome way to keep track of potential career interests. Okay, so once we look at the actual careers, when we dive into a specific career, it's really nice that they embed a video. They usually have a video embedded in it that a student can view, and it briefly gives them information about the career. So it's very brief videos, very informative, and it provides them with information about what skills and knowledge are required to be successful in that particular career. And it also provides some examples of related careers. So what else is possible for someone who is interested in just in the career field in general? And so that's also kind of nice to see. Our students are typically familiar with the common careers, right? A doctor or dentist and engineer, but there's so many more options out there that they may not even be aware of. And so that's a really nice feature, to be able to see related career fields. And more information about salary and potential growth. So that's always important to look ahead and see what are your chances, how is the job market going to be for a career in this particular field. And then another nice feature is that there is a college education level area where it does talk about what are some potential majors that you might want to focus on as you continue to pursue this specific career field. So that's where we really start to see that connection between looking way into the future, identifying those potential careers, and then working backwards. If I want to go into a particular career field, what would be a good major that will help me get there? And then once we have an idea of those majors, what would be a good college that even offers that major and that provides opportunities for a student to continue that, to develop those skills and experience within those careers. So a lot of good opportunities and information available through these tools. Now, when we take a deeper look into the specific career, for example, we can see also at the national level. So what are the potential opportunities nationwide, along with more information about median salary. So that's really nice. And this can encourage students to continue to expand their search. So when a student is hearting their careers, they will be able to maintain these results on their account. And so, like I said previously, they can continue to go back and check those careers that came up for them. And we do encourage our students to take advantage of our College and Career Center. And so that is where they will find us, the college counselors, as well as our colleagues, our career guidance specialists, who are awesome resources to reach out to and schedule an appointment with and get that support to continue that career exploration. And I know that in the fall, typically, it's like high college admission. We're in the middle of college admission, college applications right now. And so it does get to be really busy in supporting our seniors with the college application process. And so we do have our colleagues that I know I at Capo Valley lean on a lot during this time. And she is available to meet with maybe the 9th and 10th graders who want to continue to, who want to start that exploration process. And if you're a junior, senior, you're also obviously welcome to reach out to our CGS or career guidance specialists. And so they share the space in the College and Career Center with us, and they're an incredible resource to lean on. And so again, if you're a 9th, 10th grader, I encourage you to log into your account, start playing around with it. And if you want to continue to get support and some guidance with this process, I encourage you to schedule an appointment with our career guidance specialist. And now I'm going to hand it over to Ms. Rengifo.
Hi, everyone. So my name is Nicole Rengifo. I am the Futurology College Counselor over at Dana Hills. So again, we're so excited you're here to learn all about California colleges. And we're going to take a look at some of the financial aid tools or benefits students can, learn from while they're exploring this from 9th grade all the way to senior year. Because our goal for students is to be aware of the cost of college or post-high school training. So that way, when they're searching for schools, they have a good understanding of what is expected of them, either out of pocket or if they can do things to find scholarships. So one of the really cool tools about this platform is there are already built-in lessons for financial aid that students can take advantage of on their own, or we utilize them within classrooms. So each high school utilizes them differently, but students will be able to understand the process, the benefit of applying for financial aid, and things like that. So it's a really nice tool that's already there for students to even browse as of now, starting even in 9th grade. So one of the really important lessons that they focus on is how to help find scholarships and learn about the process for financial aid. So when students do apply for college senior year, they kind of have a good understanding of what the cost is and how they can mitigate if they need to find more funds to help pay for their college. So scholarships are a really great way to add to that pool. So this tool has lessons and activities for students to learn about scholarships, as well as linking them with resources and websites that are scholarship search engines. So that way students can directly start searching and applying for scholarships themselves. Many of the scholarship search engines listed on the screen have scholarships in so many different areas based on interest, background, you name it, you probably can find a scholarship. And the cool thing is you can even start applying as young as 9th grade, but majority of them would be for 12th grade. But it is nice to know what the process looks like and what's expected when you do apply. So one other really cool program that we want to highlight is calkids.org. This is a state sponsored program that helps students and families kind of create a savings account or like a 529 college savings account for students. So students are able to access funds to help pay for their college. When students want to log into this website, they would use their school state issued ID number, which can be found on Aries or on their transcript. When you log in and create an account, it'll tell you if you're eligible for funds. There are different categories based on income or other things, but I encourage every single family to log in to see if you and your students are eligible, because you could earn $500, $1,500, and it's all good to use towards your education on top of scholarships. Another really, really cool tool that students and families should be accessing is what colleges call a net price calculator. So if you are a senior or maybe you have older students, that might be familiar. But if you're not, maybe you're in 9th grade or 10th grade and you're just starting this process, utilizing a net price calculator for any college will give you a fairly realistic view of what you can expect to pay out of pocket for a college. So through California Colleges, it links you to different financial aid resources. For example, the California State Student Aid Commission website, which you see listed here. When you click on that, you can see all the California state schools. And once you find one you're interested in, for example, Cal State Fullerton, you can see what that cost might be for you based on your family's income and situation. It will ask you questions about family income based on your taxes. So that way it will tell you if you're qualifying for state financial aid, grants, potentially loans, or maybe in-house scholarships that university offers. this is a really cool tool because this helps you build that college list with financial aid in mind. Colleges are very expensive, but we want students and families to have a realistic understanding of what they can do to help navigate, looking at every college and determining which one's best for your financial situation. So as a parent, you all have access to your student's CCGI account as like an observer. So if you're interested, when you log into CaliforniaColleges.edu, you can click the register button right here on the middle of the screen, and it will ask you if you're a parent. You click yes, as long as you have your student's information, district, school, last name, first name, and student ID and date of birth, then it will link up. You can't edit anything, but it is really nice to see, has your student started building a list of colleges, or have they favorited any careers? Have they done a career interest survey? So it's just to start the conversation with your students in kind of a fun way. But if you ever have questions, you can always reach out to one of your futurology counselors and we can help facilitate getting access to an account if you're having issues. One additional resource that we have on each high school campus this year is called our Future Ready Days. Each high school hosts an event, either 1 to 2 days on their campus for seniors specifically for college and career readiness. The goal of these workshops is to help students by facilitating either completing applications, learning about a college system maybe they hadn't learned about before, learning about the benefits of community college, hearing from career speakers, military representatives, filling out the UC application with assistance from the UC representatives on campus. So each school will host them over different days. You can see here listed in October. So that way, this is right when the applications are opening. Students, it's fresh in their mind with all the resources on campus to get students really motivated and excited to start their applications and get help when they're actually working on them. So that's just another way to help students during this process. And during those days, each school will be utilizing California Colleges, like Ms. Luna mentioned earlier, to link up their transcript data to pull for their application. So that way their grades and coursework is pre-populated for the UCs or Cal States, which is really awesome because it potentially saves time and avoids human error. So that way the colleges don't have an issue with your transcript in the future. We have a few more events happening. So like this webinar, we love to host things for students, for families to help with this process, navigating the college and career, admissions world. We have a college fair that's coming up this Monday, actually, at San Juan Hills High School. So we hope you all can attend. It's great for all grades, even seniors who feel like they're already kind of have a list. Maybe you have 1 or 2 schools you're not sure of, or you can ask the reps for info on a certain major or financial aid, or even 9th graders just to learn about different colleges. So again, that's at San Juan Hills on Monday from 5:30 to 7:30. You can come anytime in between. We also are going to be hosting parent and student workshops during that time as well. So if you are attending the college fair and you'd like to learn more about community college, financial aid, or UC Cal State workshops, we will be hosting those at the same time in the theater. So we would love to see you attend. We also have our college essays webinar coming up in 2 weeks. This is geared towards seniors, but if you are a younger student and you want to learn, obviously we are more than welcome to attend. It's pertinent if you are writing your essays, but it is good to understand the process prior. So we'll be hosting that in a couple weeks. So students and families definitely sign up. We'll go over UC, Common App, essays, and any other additional info you might need. And that's it. We hope you enjoyed. If you have any questions, you can throw those in the Q&A. I know my colleagues have been answering as we chat, but now we'll try to answer any that are still remaining. So if you think of any last minute questions, you can throw those in the Q&A at the top.
And as we are answering questions, I wanted to show just a quick live demo. So if you're still here with us tonight, I want to show a quick demo of what it would look like for you to log into your account, right? So I'm going to just, as we're answering these questions, so the number one question we get is, can we get access to this slide deck? Yes, of course. You all will have access and should already received an email with information on this, or sorry, with all the slide deck. So just know that we know that that's important. So let me share my screen one more time as we are answering questions in the chat. So let's do this. Okay. So the student, one more time, will, like in those instructions on how to log in for the student part of it, for California colleges, they will click on the Clever app. All students with their Chromebook, they have access to this. Click on the Clever app and click on college readiness, and then just select California colleges. It's 2 steps. Clever, California colleges, right? So then students will be able to see my plan, just like we went over, right? So in this case, this student is a 4.0 student, right? So we wish we can be like this student. But the tools here are all kind of like the screenshots we showed you, our preview of it. And what's really, really fascinating about California colleges, like we said, we want to make sure that you see it is, in fact, all colleges, not just California. And here's where the features kind of minimize your college search and help be more efficient is you get to filter by majors, by different types of colleges, right? So again, the student has all this access. So as an example, if we wanted to do California only, we're going to go, we want a UC school. You just click on the first one, UC Berkeley, and all those features that we just went over, right? Campus community, you see it more closely here, right? The makeup of the campus, we can browse through that. The admission, we know UC Berkeley is hard to get into. This is what we would call a reach school for our students because the acceptance rate is about 14%. 3.8 average GPA. Of course, it's an average, so we know that there's students with a higher GPA. And then the cost you'll be able to see here. Somebody mentioned in the chat is the total cost, assuming room and board. Yeah, so you can, once you select cost and financial aid, you'll notice that it says for the student in state, and the cost would be about $41,000. Now that's just an estimated because it's including additional fees, books, and supplies. So if your student doesn't spend $5,893 on additional fees, then you can rest assured this is going to be more like a 35,000 number, maybe a 32,000, but room and board is included on here. And it tells you and has links to their information if you want to contact financial aid, right? So again, it's really, really neat that everything that you would ask maybe your college counselor or things as you're talking as a family pertaining to college search and career search is all in one site. Free to all of our students. We love this. Every time we meet with students, we're showing them because then you can filter and say, okay, maybe UC Berkeley is a reach school. So let's go by maybe acceptance rates of schools that are less selective. This is going to leave one UC because the UC system is just really competitive, right? But still, if you click on any others like the Cal States, for instance, you can put less selective. Instead of 23 campuses, it becomes 18 schools. And that the same will happen for all the US. Maybe you're thinking, I really, really am thinking of going to Colorado. And so then you can continue, okay, I want a public school in Colorado, and so on. So it's fun. We hope you think it's fun. We certainly think it's fun to have these conversations with our students as we continue to just expand their search and really start. If you're a freshman, you're saying, oh, maybe this is not for me. It's never too early to start this search because there's a ton of information. And the whole goal of CaliforniaColleges.edu is really to build on what you've already done in maybe your ninth grade year, 10th grade year, you did a career assessment. Okay, now let's build on a college list, 11th grade, and then senior year, that's actually launch your application. I also want to mention that all of our high schools have workshops where we utilize California colleges. For instance, I'm the college counselor at San Juan Hills. Our workshops are on Wednesdays, and all of us have different workshops throughout the school year. So be sure to check the College and Career Center or Instagram, things like that, to get that information as well. Okay, so now let's go to our questions. There is a hand raised. Unfortunately, we only can utilize the Q&A. Let's see. So we're just going to do Q&A now. If you'd like to stick around, I know that's somebody else. If you're thinking of this question, that means somebody else probably has the question as well, right? So I'm going to go through the ones that don't have. Can students satisfy the A through G foreign language requirement by taking the language course in a community college during the summer? Will they get full credit points similar to a full year course? This is a great question, very popular. question as well. So if a student takes a world language through a community college, say Saddleback, one semester, that can be the equivalent to 2 years high school credit. So yes, the universities will see that as a 2-year requirement. If you want to be more competitive and be more of those recommended, like 3rd year, 4th year, then yes, you want to maybe do like a Spanish 1 at Saddleback and then continue on to a 2. We just have to double check with those like private out of state. But to answer to in the simple way, yes, you can take your world's language at a community college for high school credit and for A through G. Okay. And then team, if you see any other questions that maybe we can answer out loud. So the REACH safe schools, is that per child or is it considered REACH for all students? So great question, right? Based on what your student has, their academic courses, their total academic GPA as well, that's where we have that conversation. Is Cal State Fullerton, for instance, or Colorado State, is it going to be a REACH school for the student? It depends on their GPA and also all the courses they've taken. So it is true that a school may be a target for your student, but will be a REACH school for another student depending on their academic record. And so that's why with this feature, you get to see, okay, I fall within the average. So that means that it's a target school and they have a percentage admittance rate of like 80%, then it's a target. But because of a high GPA, it may be a REACH school for a student with a lower GPA. Great question.
I'll answer a couple. I just saw somebody post, let's see, for the elective credit, when looking at your transcript, you need 65 elective credits. That seems daunting. And most people assume you need 65 credits of art classes or drama. 65 elective credits really just covers any class you've taken above the minimum. So for example, if you need 2 years of math and you've taken a third, or you need 2 years of Spanish and you took a third, it's really that additional requirements. You don't need to take more classes than you really think. It just kind of fill that by taking your 5 or 6 classes each year. So typically it's when students take their 3rd or 4th year of science does count, 3rd or 4th year of Spanish or foreign language, all those count as electives as well. Sometimes sports count as elective, depending if you're in a sport too. So that could be another way to fill your elective bucket.
And I want to just remind everyone that the information you see on the transcript on the bottom right of a transcript is specific to high school requirements. So we always want to distinguish that when we talk about college prep requirements, when we talk about A through G stuff, that is a different way of assessing a transcript in comparison to when we're looking at simply graduation requirements. And so I know it can be a little bit confusing sometimes, but when you're talking about graduation specifically, yes, like Ms. Rengifo mentioned, most of the classes, especially at your senior year, will funnel into clearing out those remaining credits. But please, I encourage you, make sure you're meeting with your counselor at your school site, and this would be your academic counselor, to talk about specific graduation requirements. When we talk about four-year college admissions, when we're talking about A through Gs, that is a good CaliforniaColleges.com, CaliforniaColleges.edu is a great tool to just double check those college admission requirements. And then there's a question, what is the reason to use California Colleges for the application process as opposed to the Common App? Well, the CaliforniaColleges.edu account is simply, I describe it as a headquarter. That's every student's headquarter of where to begin. So the students are able to access the California Community College application, as well as the Cal State application, the UC application. They can also access the Common application from there. However, the UCs and Cal States are the ones where students are going to be able to link the information from their California Colleges account to their college application, so that their courses and their grades will be able to import onto the Cal State and UC application. Unfortunately, the Common App does not have that feature just yet, and so I do still encourage students log into your CaliforniaColleges.edu account, because it's just one link that you have to log into to access all of the accounts, all of the different applications. But even then, when they are accessing the applications, they have to create a specific account for each application. And for that, I do recommend that students use a personal email when they're actually creating the account for each application, because that is how colleges will be reaching out to students. And the CapoStu email will not be active after students graduate. And oftentimes, there is an issue with receiving incoming emails from other educational institutions. For some reason, I'm not quite sure why that happens, but that is the case at other districts as well. And so students, I always recommend students use a personal email, a professional personal email when you're creating your college accounts for your college applications, and use the same email for all applications, just to kind of help streamline everything, and students are remembering to check that email frequently. That is how colleges will be reaching out to students. If there is, for example, a student is applying to a Cal State for a nursing program, the Cal State may reach out to the student via that email that they reported for information on supplemental material that they need to submit for that program. And it is important that students are keeping up with checking those emails, because if they do miss a deadline saying that I missed my email, or I didn't check my email, is not a valid response. And so we want to make sure that they continue to keep their options open. So please remind your child, check your emails regularly, whatever email they use to create their college accounts. And it should be a personal professional email, that they check that frequently once they submit their college applications. Let's see, I see another question.
Oh.
Oops, sorry. Can a history one-year credit be fulfilled outside of the school? So again, we're talking about, there's always two different conversations that we need to be careful about when we're having conversations about what meets what. And so if you were talking about history and it's a class that you need to meet a graduation requirement, we do have a policy as a district that to meet graduation requirements, you must take those courses at your high school. And so please be mindful of that. And if you have any questions about that, we want to make sure that you are opening that communication between you and your child's academic counselor at your school site. And make sure that you're taking the classes that you need to be taking to first and foremost meet those graduation requirements, right? And then, of course, if you need to take, or if you want to take an additional history class because you do want to start working on those GEs or gain college credit, if you earn a C or higher in a transferable course called UC transferable course, then that's definitely an option that you can explore through the concurrent enrollment process. But if we're talking about high school, students must take courses required for high school graduation through their high school.
Somebody asked a question. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Miss Luna. Somebody mentioned taking sign language at Saddleback. And so, yeah, that's considered a foreign language, just like Japanese or Spanish. So again, if you have taken, I believe ASL 1, that would count as your 2 years for UC A through G requirements. If you want to go beyond that, you are more than welcome to. But yes, again, same as Spanish or any other foreign language. If you take the first level at Saddleback, that could be counted as 2 years.
Okay. And then there was a question about why the language class does not show up in my transcript in the summary section. Did we answer that? I don't believe, yeah, we did. No. So that one may be if, for instance, you took a community college course, this will only pull up whatever's on Aries, right, through your high school career. And so if you took it somewhere else, that is why you won't be able to see it on your CaliforniaColleges.edu, right? So CaliforniaColleges.edu will act as a supplement for what's already on your transcript. So if you don't see it on there, it might be because you took it somewhere else. If you know you took it at your school, then talk to your college counselor and we can look into it. Either way, though, by the time you're ready to apply for colleges, You can transfer everything, and like anything with technology, we just double check that everything has been included and uploaded correctly.
So the question, why does my language class not show up on my transcript in the summary section? I'm assuming this is a high school language class, and on the transcript on the lower right-hand side, if that's the summary section that, I'm assuming that's the section that's how I'm interpreting this question. The summary section at the bottom, on the bottom right-hand corner of the transcript, if that's what you're referring to in your question, the language class, so remember, that section on the bottom right-hand side of your actual transcript is a summary for graduation requirements. And again, graduation requirements are different from the A through G college admission, Cal State UC college admission requirements. And so the transcript is tracking, are you meeting the requirements that you need to satisfy the diploma requirements at one of our high schools? And if that's the case, to graduate, you need to have 1 year of either a visual performing art, a CTE class, or a language class. So if you've taken a language and an art, it is possible that it is accounting for your art class rather than your language class. So I mean, I'm not sure which way this question is referring to it, but that's how I'm interpreting it. But I'm not sure. I'm not sure which way they're. Yes, thank you. That was, okay, great, perfect, thank you. So it is, that was the question. Okay, so yes, to graduate, you must have 1 year of a visual performing art, 1 year of a language other than English, or 1 year of a CTE class. So it will, once the computer recognizes, once Aries recognizes that you took one of those classes, it'll just kind of check off that box. So, but when you log into your CaliforniaColleges.edu account and you check your A through G requirements, it should reflect the years that you've taken of a language other than English, the one, or if you've taken more visual performing art classes, and if you did take any CTE specific classes that were A through G approved, they will show on your CCGI account. Another way to also double triple check is when you log into your Aries, there is a view where you can see kind of like your academic progress for graduation, as well as CSU admission and UC admission. So that's also a nice way to be able to compare all three. Okay, because we are talking about different requirements, graduation and four-year college admission.
Great. Question on Cal Kids, right? So this is a newer platform, newer for us this past year. And so the 10-digit statewide ID you can find in your Aries account. The student can view on there. If you have difficulty finding that, you can also message your college counselor, and it's an easy pull up, but it's all in the Aries account to see if you're eligible for calkids.org. And yes, I'm so glad you touched on that, Ms. Davila, with A through G requirements versus high school requirements. As a reminder, you are meeting with your school counselor in the coming weeks for seniors to double check those. And then for the rest of the students, 9th, 10th, and 11th grade, that advisement period will come up in the spring. So it's always a great conversation, never too early to have that when we're talking about, okay, do you need this for high school graduation, or is this something for A through G for your universities? Because the two are very different, right? Looks like Gabriela has a question. Gabriela, can you put it in the chat for us? Oh, sorry, not the chat, the Q&A. And so a question about, can we bring Saddleback transcript into CaliforniaColleges.edu? It's not going to, unless it shows up on your Aries account, it's not going to show up on your CaliforniaColleges.edu account. But in any event, though, by the time you're ready to apply to the colleges, if you did take community college courses, you are going to report that to the colleges and then eventually send an official transcript from the community college to ensure that the colleges see that you did in fact receive that credit, and you have something to prove that, right? So it won't show up again because it's not on your Aries account, and the information is pulling from the Aries account for all students. But good question. Okay, so we have a couple, about 5 more minutes or so. Yeah, keep putting your questions in the Q&A.
For any, excuse me, can you hear me? For any seniors who are currently applying to UCs, Cal States, and you did take a community college course, it is possible that some of you did request to have that course appear on your high school transcript. Some of you may have requested that it didn't. Either way, I do encourage you to make sure that you are double checking. And if it's not on your, like Ms. Maluna said, if it's not on your Aries account, then you do have to manually input that information. And I do recommend to go based off of your Saddleback transcript. And so you want to make sure that the information that you're reporting on your college application is matching the transcript of whatever community college you took the course at. And so I recommend log into your MySite account, or you can request an unofficial transcript from Saddleback. But either way, make sure that whatever information you are reporting that you took at a college matches the information that is on that college transcript.
Somebody asked about Spanish, if it counts as a CUSD elective. So on your transcript, the category that Spanish might fall into would be world language, fine art, or a CTE class. So if you have already met that category by taking another art class or a CTE class, then your Spanish class could count as an elective. So yes, if you've taken 2 years, the first year could fill your foreign language requirement, and then the second could be an elective. It just depends on how many years and if you've taken any other electives. But yes, it could count as an elective, especially if you've taken Spanish 2 or above. So just to confirm, I'm not sure, want to make sure everyone's clear, or if there's any confusion, you can leave a question in the chat. So if you do take a class at Saddleback, it's for your A through G requirements. Potentially to fulfill those, it wouldn't be for high school graduation requirements. So even if you do take Spanish, for example, and you bring it back on our transcript, it's not counting as one of your original high school graduation requirements. But if you ever are concerned and you have a question specifically on your transcript and how it's laid out, I would definitely suggest making an appointment with your counselor on site so that way they can confirm, or if you have any issues, if there's a missing grade or anything like that, to double check.
Yeah, so to reiterate, it's not required for a high school requirement for you to graduate from your campus, but it is going to be a requirement for those 4-year institutions because they do require, if we bring up that other side of like the A through G requirements versus high school requirements, when you get this PowerPoint, you're going to see the list of all the differences. And so maybe it's worth it, since we still have about 4 minutes here, it may be worth bringing it up one more time, that there is a distinction. And again, those questions, while can be complicated, are usually cleared up once you meet with your school counselor, because like Ms. Davila said, they're 2 different conversations, A through G, which is what you need for those 4 years, versus high school requirements, which is high school diploma from CUSD. Right. Anything else?
Yeah, I saw somebody mention what is CTE, and I think we've all said it a few times casually, but CTE is another term for career technical education classes that we have here on campus. So you might even be taking a CTE course without even realizing it. For example, sports medicine or some of our theater arts classes or culinary or auto. Those are often classified as CTE classes, but those usually are considered an elective on your transcript. So CTE doesn't necessarily change the requirement. It just kind of codes the class if it's career kind of training. And then CCGI, that is also the platform that California Colleges website is on. That is like the organization, I guess, that created CaliforniaColleges.edu. So we both say the word interchangeably, but for students, CaliforniaColleges.edu is the website that they would be logging into. And somebody else asked if you take do you get college credit if you take a Spanish class? If you take a Spanish class at a community college, then yes. If you take a Spanish at your high school, then that is not college credit. So it depends where you take it. If it's at Saddleback or something like that, you would earn college credit pending you pass the class. But if it's a high school class here, you do not.
Now, it is possible if a student took an AP class, an AP Spanish class, you took the AP exam and passed it with a 3 or higher, they may potentially convert to college credit in the future, depending on the college that you end up attending.
Yeah, so just for those of you, there's still a handful of you here, almost 100 people in this room still. So just want to bring up this slide one more time regarding like high school requirements versus college requirements. Again, nothing to really be concerned about right now, like through this webinar, because this conversation will continue to be brought up as your student goes through their 9th through 12th grade career. So the difference with what is required for CUSD, as you can see here, it says you can do a visual performing arts, a world language, or a CTE course, that career technical education that Ms. Rengifo mentioned. And you only need 1 year of that to graduate high school. But then to the right, if you look at the E requirement of the A through Gs, you see where it says foreign language, it's 2 years, 3 years recommended if you want to apply for these 4-year institutions, as well as like the difference between math. Well, it's the same because you need math to graduate high school, but 4 years recommended. Ideally, you're taking a math class your freshman through senior year. We know that senior year we like to relax a little bit, right? Because we've done all the hard work, but colleges are still considering the quality of your senior year. And on top of that, with VAPA, we say VAPA, but it really means visual or performing arts. So to simplify it, hopefully this visual helps, right? For graduation requirements, it's only 1 year, one of these. But for college, 4-year, you need a world language and a visual and performing arts, which is why you might want to take that 2nd year of a language, 3rd year of a language, or go the community college route if you want to receive that credit. So just want to emphasize, we didn't mean to confuse you with this slide, just kind of wanted to remind our families tonight, especially as we're thinking about like college search tools, the difference between the graduation requirements and A through G, or really A through G eligibility for Cal State's UC. Hopefully that clears up some of those kind of questions that we've been receiving. Great questions. All right, so that is about the hour. We thank you so much for being here with us tonight. This is not the only time that we are available. We are in the college centers. You have our emails. You can find out who your college counselor is. Actually, that's what I'm going to do right now so that you can see. We know you're all at different campuses. So if you are at Tesoro, it is Ms. Angela Gatlin, Ms. B. Wynn at Aliso Nagel, Ms. Davila, who's here with us tonight for Capo Valley, Ms. Laura Josso at San Clemente High School, Ms. Linda King at Cal Prep Union, myself, Myra Luna at San Juan Hills, Ms. Rengifo, who's here also at Dana Hills, and then Ms. Erica Gardner, she is our college and career coordinator. She makes all this possible as well. So this is the team, makes up Futurology. If you have questions, please reach out to us. We are more than happy. We love talking about colleges. We love talking about careers. And so we just have a great team. So we hope to hear from you. We are available to you. So thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you. Have a great evening, everyone.
Bye, everyone.